All right, so when we look at this one, this has a new element that we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen not exactly this idea. So let's take a look. We have a -3 in front. We've seen that. That means that we're just going to put it in our answer at the beginning. If we can multiply it by anything later on, then we will. So I'm just going to write the -3 over here so I don't forget it later. And now we're going to focus on simplifying underneath the square root. So 32, think of how you can break 32 into two things you can multiply together to get 32. I think of 8 times 4 or 4 times 8. And so 8 is just 2 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. And the 4 we could break apart again. So 4 is 2 times 2, and there's the 2, and there's the 2. Okay, so this one, 2's, 2, 2. All right, lots of 2's there. So let's think about, we're looking for perfect squares. So a pair is a perfect square. There's one, and there's another one. So we had one perfect square and another perfect square. And then we had the sad little one that was left over. So that one has to stay under the square root. No pair for that one. All right, now let's look at the letters. So a to the fourth means a times a times a times a, and b cubed means b times b times b, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 a's, and then b, 3 b's. They're all multiplied together. We're looking for pairs. There's one, and there's another one. There's another pair. All right, and we have this little leftover b. So we have 2 a's that are left over. That are pairs, sorry. And we have a pair of b's, so that comes out. And then we have one b that stays underneath because it does not have a pair, have a partner. All right, so let's simplify. -3 times 2 is -6 times 2 is -12. And then a times a, that's a squared. And then there's a b on the outside, and underneath is square root of 2b. All right, so our final answer is here, -12 a squared b times the square root of 2b. So there was, let me say that differently. There were a lot of perfect squares in this. We couldn't necessarily see them at first. The 32 we had to break apart to see all those perfect squares. There were a set of perfect squares here and here, and so that came out and all had to be combined. All right, I hope that helps. If you'd like, stick around for just a moment. Let me go into a little bit of more of the reasoning behind it. So if you want to see that, then stick around. A couple of things. One is that the square root symbol is the only time in math that I can think of where there's an understood 2. We never write it, but there's an understood 2 here. So usually you hear of an understood 1 in math anyway. So let's think about just the letter part here. A to the fourth, b cubed. It looks like a division symbol, and in some ways it is, in a sense. You could think of dividing here. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And so when you take this square root, notice that you've got a squared, a to the 2 power, right? 4 divided by 2. And then if you have b to the third and you're taking out 2 of them, like we had 2 groups of 2, that's why we had a squared, but we can only take out one group of 2 for b cubed. And so there's the one group of 2, and then there's the one b that was left over. I hope, if maybe that's starting to make sense. If not, it's okay. It's all right if it doesn't. For 32, we had these 2 pairs of 2's that were perfect squares. Think about what that means here. That means we had 4 times 4 times 2, because the square root of 4 is 2, square root of 4 is 2. That means, we could have said when we were breaking 32 down, we could have said 16 times 2, right? But I didn't think of that. I thought of 4 times 8, and it works, and I get the right answer. But 16 is a perfect square. These are all square roots. we're not writing all the little individual square roots, but the square root of 16 is 4. And so there's the 4 that we got out of this. And then we have the square root of 2 left over. There's the square root of 2 that was left over. So for some of you, that's going to make more sense. And absolutely, you need to do it the way that makes more sense to you. So I hope that was helpful, not confusing. See you next time.